explain briefly to you why we are here today. And as you would probably try to recap from the last interaction you would have had in the funeral. I think we last met like this in the funeral, even if we were doing doorstop interaction. Minister is here, and with the Deputy Minister and Premier and the Executive Mayor of BCM, the Mrs. Are also here. We were here to update the families on progress as far as the cause of death is concerned. You remember in the funeral, everyone was keen to understand exactly what is the problem, what probably could be attributed to be the cause of death. And during the day of the funeral, on the mass funeral we had no progress report at that point. It was still early days. And today we convened this meeting with families just to give them the progress report, what one will call it as a preliminary report, in terms of what has been thus far found in the laboratories. As you all know that we said we're expecting laboratories to give us science of what has happened. Because what we thought probably would have assumed that it would be cause of death, stampede, as many probably would have been speculating, was immediately rolled out during the process of autopsy or the postmortem process. And then a further investigation from a scientific point of view had to be undertaken. We definitely needed not to rely on logic on this one, so that we can dig a little bit deeper and get a proper sense of what has happened. All of us, we were still unbelieving it. Even today, it's still difficult to fathom exactly what has actually happened on the day. But at least now there's a sense of the direction from what science is telling us through the investigation done in our laboratories. This is what we've briefed the families about. Families appreciated. Yes, of course, wounds are still fresh. It's difficult to deal with something that is inside and something that you cannot see. So we want to appeal to you also as media, as you generate your stories and report, assist us. Assist us, assist those families to heal. Let's not exacerbate the problem. Let's not complicate the problem. So we're working on that, and probably, Minister, I can ask Dr. Matiwane just to briefly talk on what has been detected or what has been discovered at this point in time in the samples that have been taken for these kids. We don't want us to take anyone else to speak about this. The cause of death is a very sensitive issue. There are a couple of questions that families were raising. At this point in time, the death certificate says under investigation. There's no death called under investigation. So there must be something that talks to that. So all those kind of issues, we are making it a point that they are all cleared, but they can only be all cleared when we are able to put a finger on that particular issue that has been. Dr. Matiwane is going to speak to anomalies that have been actually detected, which are still being worked around to make sure that we are perfectly or absolutely conclusive on exactly what has happened. For some of these issues, people could coexist with them, depending on quantities or qualities in their blood system. Dr. Matiwane, if you may just briefly talk on to those 3-4 elements.
Funeral that there were 21 bodies that were collected on the day, which is the 26th, and postmortems were done on that day. We then also took toxicology samples that were sent to the toxicology lab in Cape Town, where it was mainly blood and gastric content toxicology samples. We have now received the initial blood results from the lab, and those blood results, the first three findings are for blood alcohol levels, carbon monoxide levels, and preliminary qualitative level results. So what we was found is that for blood alcohol levels, the levels ranged from 0.05 grams to 0.26 grams per 100 milliliters, which in itself is not conclusive of lethal toxicology. So at this point in time, we can then say that that might not have been the final cause of death. Then the second layer of results that came through was that of carbon monoxide, which also was ranging from 3.3 to 21% saturation of hemoglobin. Now, under normal circumstances, you expect toxicology or lethal levels to be above 50%. So again, the understanding is that this might not yet be the final cause of what we are looking at as the cause of lethal toxicology. The last part that we were looking at this point in time, the results that have come through, is that of methanol. Now, methanol has been detected in all the 21 individuals that was there. However, there is still a progressive analysis of the levels of methanol. So we just have the qualitative result that says all 21 of them had methanol in their blood, but we still need to get the quantitative levels, which will then tell us whether these were at lethal or non-lethal levels as well. So in summary, what we have is that we have now moved from a point where we had said, yes, we did exclude the stampede, but now we do have initial results from the toxicology lab. However, at this point in time, there is no conclusive result that says this was the lethal concoction that we are dealing with. I will stand down on that. Premier, thank you very much.
Deputy Minister, MCs, the Mayor, and everybody, clear enough news givers. Good afternoon. We committed and we instructed to work with the families in the community as well as if you know. So we're trying to work on that one. To say one other thing is to now and again to help them to understand from the authority and official point of view, especially from the side of the medical technocrats, so that it's not misinterpreted by ourselves what really happened and what really is happening. What really happened on the particular day from the side of breaking the law. Investigations are continuing. We're not ruling out any form of finding other people that will be able to answer and give accountability of what happened on that particular day.
I'm Silvio Matlashwa from BcmTv. I just want to know to the Minister, does this case of 21 children that died in Senior Park link to other Tarven killings that happened after the Wolf's death?
Okay. No, I think they've covered.
Definitely, the way it happened in this Tarven cannot be linked with other killings that are taking place in other ship-ins that could be in Orlando, in Soweto, or Sweetwaters in Maritzburg. Simply different is that you can't send doctors there because people are shot to send police to investigate it. But to expand even on that one, there's absolutely no evidence that those killings of taverns are linked. While we haven't arrested anybody in Soweto, though people properly identified and chased according to the provincial commission there, we have arrested people in Maritzburg, where 5 people have been arrested, including the finding of the murder weapon there. And the issue is clearly not even the target. The person that was shot there, they were fighting on other things, like they were fighting on drugs. Some people that died extra there were people that died because we were at the wrong place at the wrong time doing the shipping when this guy was hunted. There's another one that happened in Mamelodi. Those people, that was killed by the person that had a financial grudge rather than any kind of organized shipping or tavern attack. As we have said, we absolutely don't have the evidence at the present moment. People that were killed in the Alex were shot randomly and was nothing else but the robbery in Alex. Fortunately, we saw people appeared in court yesterday in Alex, and we have found about 5 firearms now, and 39 cellular phones were found there. So some of them have been positively identified by the people that were robbed from them. So different reasons. Definitely there is no coordination that has been witnessed and no evidence that has been collected to say the shooting in the places of drinking, those places where people they go to relax are organized. So if they're organized, then there would be from gangsterism and other things. Terrorism is far away from it. If you talk about terrorism, you talk about the very high level of organization, funded, and reasons, and people would have come out to claim and all that. So criminality that has increased, and we look at it as such, and we're working it as such. The investigation, Prina, I'll leave it to the police. What else are they investigating? The Deputy National Commissioner is here, to answer on that. Thanks.
Yes, Lundo Bushe. The case of contravention of Liquor Act was opened by the Liquor Board. When the call was made, when the noise was heard, all responsible assembled at the crime scene, and the responsible department and organization had to take their part, and the case was therefore open because they were part and parcel of those who visited the crime scene. Of course, we're working with Liquor Board from time to time because we have got the duty as the police to ensure the compliance thereof. The other matter that the police is investigating is on the issue of the death of the 21 individuals. There is an inquest docket that is under investigation. Dr. Matuani did give a preliminary report on that. There is a collaboration between both the Police Forensic Science Laboratory as well as the Department of Health and Pathology Unit that is doing the investigation to determine the cause of death. That will then make its way into the docket that will go to court. That is the inquest docket that will then be presented to court, where the arguments will be heard and the conclusive report will therefore be provided when that is done. So there is an investigation that the police is doing in as far as the death of the 21 young people is concerned, and that is on the inquest docket.
The outstanding processes that are still outstanding, yes, we are looking for other activities that might come through. For example, formic acid, which is a byproduct of methanol, and may actually tell us more about the concentrations and the levels that actually are found and whether there is toxicity. So there are other activities. Like I said, there's also the gastric and bowel issues. that have been taken. That will also tell us what was in the contents of what they've been drinking and so forth. So there are other activities and other toxicological processes that are going on in the lab in Cape Town. Now, we take the samples and send them through to the lab in Cape Town, which does the toxicology, like the Premier is saying, they are doing overall toxicologies for the country. So at this point in time, we depended on them in terms of them giving us the timelines and so forth, and we wait for the results as they come in. So I can't give now and say this is the end point of when the results are going to come through. And then how does the methanol then get into the body? Really, the first and obvious way is if you ingest it, so you can take it in. That is one way of getting it. But it does become also a byproduct of some other chemicals. So we can't say now whether they've ingested or it is a byproduct of a chemical that they've taken. So we are waiting for those results. And we're saying, let us wait for that, let us hear, and let us hear also what concentrations they are, because that could also give us a direction to say if it was at these levels, it most probably was ingested, or if it was at these levels, it was most probably went into this process.
Hayi.